Yeah, I mean, watching as much film, trying to, just have a kind of sense on how they want to play. Of course, for them it'll be a different game as well. They're not playing, one of the teams that they face in the league, just as we're not as well, So yeah, I mean, the preparation is about small details because. Once the composition gets better and it's higher level of individual and team quality, little things can decide the outcome of the game. And I think the game we played with Al Ali a few years back was a good learning point for us. What's that again?
The distraction of the pace situation.
It's frustrating. It is frustrating, and I don't think we got anywhere. But still a couple of days to kind of see. But I think, it's not going to be what we imagine or what would be fair. So I think that's that.
Is it still a distraction?
Yeah, we spoke about it. It's a distraction when you're talking about it a couple of days prior to the game and then after the game. But once we start playing games. I don't think it's on your mind and thinking about that as the game is going on. We're all athletes. We're all trying to win the game, no matter whether it's walk competition or if it's just a training game here in training. So I think once the game starts, then you're kind of in a game mode.
Albert, I mean, when you've done so much to get that point across, what are you prepared to do? What is the group prepared to do if there's no resolution?
Yeah, I mean, it's still something we talk about. It's obviously not just us, it's three MLS teams that are part of this. So yeah, we all have to chip in with our own kind of where we're at. And everybody's opinion can vary, but it's important that we hear each other out and we hear everyone's opinion. And then trying to come up with not necessarily a solution, but how we're going to go about this as players. So I think that's still it's still in process.
Would players sitting out be a consequence, be a possibility at all?
No, I don't think so. I think we worked hard to get to this stage and this tournament, and we've earned it by winning the CONCACAF Champions Cup. So yeah, I don't think sitting out is an option. Just because that inside what we have as athletes and as winners, and want to go out there and win and prove the people wrong. Whether it's whether we're talking about the bonuses or the people not believing that we can do anything because we're in a group of death and all that. So. That winner's mentality within us that each and every one of us has I think is bigger than maybe our egos and what's fair and what's not.
We need to do. What are some of those things, right? Like internally that you have to show up to play a good game and get a result.
Yeah, I mean, it could be just as a little thing as a second ball on the edge of the box and then getting to it first, and that could lead to a goal. Set piece is another thing. That can change the outcome of the game, and it's the little things. Every time you give the ball away, maybe you'll be chasing for the next 5 minutes, and that's not what we want to do. We want to have the ball. So by little things, I mean all the little details that happen so often in a game. But I think in a game like this, we have to try and minimize them. Mistakes will happen, but I think if we minimize the cheap giveaways and kind of costly transition moments and individual mistakes, then I think that will give us a better chance of coming out with a positive result.
One of the things we haven't talked about is just the fact that you guys are playing at home. Speaking of little things, just how much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest plus for us. The biggest bonus is that we get to play in front of our own fans. Me personally, I'm excited to see what Lumen looks like with the grass on it instead of turf. I've never seen it. So we've seen a kind of live camera shot yesterday in a film, and it looks nice. But again, it's so far up that to actually be on it and kind of get through warm up will be different. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that.
How different is the grass and the turf? It's kind of similar as long as there's no rain, but how How does that affect your passing? And then
No, I mean, I don't think grass and turf is similar at all. I think it's such a big difference to play on normal grass compared to normal turf. Yeah, when we played those surf games at like 12 noon or 1 p.m., those are rough, right? Because the water just evaporates from the turf in minutes. Where I think on the normal grass, I think you can give it a little bit more water prior to a game. Maybe it will kind of soak it in and it will stay a little bit more wet for longer. So that's a big difference. And then yeah, I mean, I haven't stepped on the grass at Lumen, so I can't tell you what it's going to be like. But yeah, it's hopefully it's good.
How difficult or similar would you say the prep for this game is compared to, say a Champions Cup or CONCACAF game?
Yeah, I think it's closer to the Champions Cup than an MLS game. Again, it's there's so much you can prepare for and watch film and all that, try to learn, but I think it'll be about us as well. Can we establish our game, and that's been missing last couple of games in MLS. So can we use this new tournament as kind of a restart point in the season, and show how we play and maybe make them adjust to us. We don't want to go out there and just completely sit back and defend for 90 minutes and don't think that's the strength of ours. So it will also be important for us to be really good, and I think the start of the game will be crucial as well. If we can start on the front foot, be good with the ball, and create a couple chances early, I think that can have a good impact on the rest of the game.
Has there been much conversation around? I mean, this is kind of an unprecedented situation where you have a FIFA competition where a team is playing a home game. So it's going to be you're playing in your stadium, but it's unfamiliar in a lot of ways. It's going to have grass. You guys are going to be staying in a hotel the night before. You got to take a bus to the game. There's going to be all this stuff around the game that is foreign, really. Yeah. I mean, has there been talk about how just like the kind of, I don't know, kind of like skewed nature of how this is not quite a home game?
Yeah, well, I think technically 2 of the 3 are home games for us. One of the games, I think, we're the away team.
Oh, interesting.
Whether that changes which locker room we stay in, not sure. I'm also not sure, about the tickets distribution, whether, it's like same percentage for both clubs that are playing each other for their fans, so you can have kind of equal fan base at the stadium, or, it's just free for all, whoever buys them comes. So yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, we are playing at our own stadium that we know very well, and whether that's just the kind of sense of the pitch where you're at one moment, I think we will hold a slight advantage in that point. I think we'll hold an advantage where we have more fans than the teams we're playing against, which is another good thing for us. But yeah, as far as all the kind of treatments around it, and with the hotel, like you mentioned, it will feel different than a regular MLS game where 3-4 hours before the game I'm home playing with kids. I don't think that will happen now. So there will be things that will feel different, but then there is things that will make it a bit more like a home game for us.
Savarino with Botafogo obviously spent a long time in MLS as a fellow attacker. What makes Savarino a dangerous player?
Yeah, I mean, I have great memories with him. Great player. We had a really good connection. He was always on the wing and I was in the middle. We stayed in touch even when I left, and then he came back to RSL, and then he went back to Brazil. So yeah, we've been in touch, and we're aware of the fact that we will be playing against each other.
Has he told you kind of about the culture in Botafogo at all, about what it's like down there?
No, I mean, no, we didn't. Those are not the things that we talk about. Yeah, I didn't ask him how's the culture there. Yeah, just it's nice to look back and to stay in touch with someone that you've played. Because it's not, you don't stay in touch with everybody that you've played with. Yeah, I think we kind of had a click right away since when he came over to RSL. Young boy, no English. It wasn't easy for him, but his quality kind of helped him settle in within the team. And once you show what you can do in training and in games, I think the rest of the group kind of takes you on board a little bit faster, and I think that was his case. And he's still playing for his national team, and then he's playing for a great team. So he's doing well. It's good to see.
One of the things that I usually hear from both Mexican teams and South American teams is that MLS is a lot faster paced and everything moves a lot quicker. How important is it going to be to physically just be the more proactive team and move the ball really fast against this Botafogo squad?
Yeah, you're right. It's each league in the world has its own kind of ways of how the league is going. You can look at the Italian way of playing, and the defending is really good, right? There's not a lot of goals. They don't concede a lot. To score against them is tough. And then all the other leagues we could mention. But yeah, I think there is difference between MLS, Liga MX, Brazilian Serie A. So I think there'll be not just a clash of different teams from different leagues, but also a clash of styles in terms of how teams play. And I think who can establish kind of their own way and makes the other team adjust earlier in a game. It will be a big benefit, I think, for them. So yeah, I think start of the games is important, and then after the last few games that we've had, especially for us, it's important to start strong.
Thanks, Albert.
Thank you, Albert.
Thank you.